Today I'm driving an all-electric Mercedes. It's a midsize SUV, and it's the 2023 EQE SUV. There's an EQE sedan. We've tested that one. We've also tested the larger EQS sedan and the EQS SUV. There's a lot of letters going on. Basically, EQ means all-electric Mercedes, dedicated powertrain, a full dedicated chassis that's nothing like any of the gas-powered Benzes. I'll tell you how this one drives, how it charges, and most importantly, why it might or might not be worth over $100,000. That's what this one is. The EQE SUV is brand new for 2023. It's the electric alternative to the GLE, which is the most popular Mercedes SUV they sell. Right now, it's a pretty exclusive item, and you'll have to decide for yourself whether it's right for you, but I'll show you around. There's 4 ways to buy an EQE SUV. The first is the 350 Plus. That is a single motor, rear-wheel drive, the most battery range, but the least power and torque. And for the same base starting price, you can get the 4MATIC, which has 2 motors, all-wheel drive, and a lot more torque. And if you want more horsepower for $60 a month, Mercedes will let you do that too. Now this one is the EQE 500, so it's got a lot more power and torque, and also has slightly more range than that EQE 350 4MATIC. And pretty soon there's also going to be the AMG model. Power, absolutely insane, and torque well over 700 pound-feet. Of course, the estimated range is the least. The best way to picture how large the EQE SUV really is to compare it to the best-selling SUV in Mercedes lineup, the GLE. So the EQE SUV, it's actually a little shorter overall, but the wheelbase is longer. That's why you get so much airiness inside that cabin. Cargo space does suffer though, versus the GLE. And really, besides the fact that it is a little shorter and tidier and has more room inside, I hate the way this car looks. All right, let me explain. The looks just have a minivan appearance to them. I don't think this car or the larger EQS SUV is a design win for Mercedes. It certainly doesn't feel like it to me. The only thing that makes it a Mercedes is the star emblem on the front. It's very, very large, and all the star patterns around that grille. If you took all that off, I wouldn't know what to call this. I'm sorry, but it does not work for me like a lot of Mercedes-Benz's other classic and flowing designs across their lineup. Not to me. But technically, it's brilliant because it has maximum aerodynamic efficiency, which in Germany is all they're trying to chase. So you have a car like this and the windshield is raked back, it's very smooth contours, the aerodynamic drag is a super low number. If you're a car geek like me, you'll find things that are like 0.25 CD. That's what car designers try to sketch so they can get the wind cheating over the body so you have maximum efficiency. But efficiency does not equate to full-on luxury. And at these prices, I'm sorry, this does not work for me. There's a few other design missteps like this. Mercedes seals the hood shut from you because they want you to go to the dealership for any repairs and service. So the only way to add more windshield washer fluid is to put it in here. There's also some other things like this accessory sideboard. It actually gets in the way because it's not a very tall vehicle. And that actually is a good thing about the EQE because it's very easy to get in and out. The doors are very wide. And I also like these touch-sensitive door handles that pop out and pop back in. The rear wheel steering on this is phenomenal. 10 degrees, that might not sound like a lot, but this thing can turn on a dime. I can do a full U-turn right around here, no issue. I do like the back too, because these filaments, they remind me of lighting filaments, that's why they're there. Beautiful look of LEDs. That's the most unique part about this car. Everything else is just sort of so-so. There's a lot of back seat space, but to get it, Mercedes had to remove a lot of space from the cargo hold. 14 cubic feet when the seats are up, 55 when they're down. Those numbers are way, way below the GLE and a lot of other compact SUVs. Acceleration is acceptably fast. I would say not earth-shattering, but good. Definitely will annoy your passengers whenever you do this and this. And yeah. It seems to be a very much, not so much a trend, but just a necessity that every EV has to snap your neck back when you're accelerating. And it's nice that you can do it, but at its core, the EQE is still a Mercedes. And whether it's electric or gas, they're meant for comfort. It's meant for long distance comfort. On the EVs, maybe not so much long distance as you would get in, say, an actual E-Class sedan. But I think that this car really, it's super quiet. And it has to be as an EV, like any EV, because without any engine noise, all the road noise and other cars around you are amplified. And they have done a phenomenal job of quieting this car down, even to how they've wound the motors and the insulation around some of the refrigerant compressors and everything that's going underneath this car, owe it to Mercedes for engineering an EV that is truly something world class. And that is why you're paying extra for it. It's all these little things that you don't notice, but here it's definitely among the quietest EVs I've tested. But aside from the quietness and the way this car rides, because the ride is very good, I'm riding on the optional Airmatic air suspension, which can be a little floaty in comfort mode. You kind of get this bounce, slight head toss. Some people might like that, but personally I don't, and I don't think it truly helps the ride unless you want that highway kind of old Lincoln town car experience. At times, that's what it feels like. So I would skip that option and just go with the standard suspension setup, because the way Mercedes tunes their suspensions is already, from the start, excellent. So from a chassis perspective, yes, it's all here. But when you're driving in a straight line and you're just, tooling around town, the EQE SUV doesn't really feel much different than most any other electric SUV out there. That's kind of the problem. I could be in a $60,000 Nissan Ariya and feel pretty much 80 to 90% of what this car is. And the problem is that if you're not differentiating your car enough, why do you want to buy it? So you do have to wow the customer with other things like this nice screen. I'll get into that later. But just from a pure driving standpoint, it's not quite it's not quite an exhilarating and unique experience unique to Mercedes-Benz. So you can get this almost anywhere. There's a few brake regen modes, and it's accessible right here on the steering wheel paddles. So you can have it to be a strong deceleration, normal, or nothing at all. And we'll also use the radar cruise control sensors and other sensors to pace with the car ahead, so it'll kind of automatically brake for you. I personally don't like how that feels. It's much better to just use this left-hand paddle shifter to get that going for you. The road holding's actually pretty good, and there's not a ton of body lean. So the EQE SUV, it's pleasant to drive, but it's not very special. The experience leaves me wanting, but all of the basics for an EV, especially a luxury EV, are here. It's quiet, it's supple, it's got a ton of torque. You can shock your passengers for a little while and then they can relax in complete comfort. No gear shifting. There's a few different driving modes, eco, there's sport. So it's all of the usual features you'd find in almost any EV these days. And Mercedes just has a quieter interior than most, and a body structure that is absolutely out of this world, like all of their cars. So from a solidity standpoint, from chassis engineering, you'd be hard pressed to think that this car was as big and heavy as it truly is. Because at 5,700 pounds, this is the same as a G-Wagon, which is the crazy off-road military truck that Mercedes builds with 3 locking differentials. That makes sense that it's this heavy. This car should not be that heavy, but the battery is. To put that into perspective, this EQE SUV, which is a midsize SUV with just 2 rows of seats, weighs as much as a Ford F-150 pickup truck. And I've found that when it comes time to stop, at low speeds it's fine, but go anywhere near the highway speed limit and you'll have a lot of trouble. It's just too heavy of a car. In our highway test, we drove 99 miles at approximately 70 to 75 miles an hour. 60-degree day, beautiful and sunny. We started with these numbers and ended with these. Not too bad of a difference for range estimate. We also went from 80 to 10% over a total of 165 miles. Doing some extrapolation, the actual range would be about 246 miles, not quite the EPA estimate, but also not far off. Inside the EQE, there's not actually a ton of headroom in the front. All this nice rake glass does kind of make it feel slightly more cramped, so the back seat is actually the better seat. There's definitely a futuristic feel with the dashboard. I like how the touchscreen just floats above it and then flows into the center stack. The hyperscreen is an option for next year, 2024. I also like the wood and the way the dash curves around the doors, but these star emblems, they're pretty tacky. And not all the materials are first class. Remember, this is a $100,000 vehicle, and the tops of the doors and the dash, even the steering wheel leather, it doesn't feel very high-end. Don't get me wrong, this is still a very pleasant interior, but I drove a fully loaded GLE, watched that review, and it was 20 grand less. But all the materials and the colors and how the fit and finish felt, it felt like it was 20 grand more. I like the back seat better than the front. It's not just because it's airier and roomier with the panoramic roof and ton of legroom. It's the fact that it's not perforated leather in the back, so it just feels softer. And I'm appreciating all these little details. The glowing light here behind this floating panel for the door handle, aluminum trim, the Burmester speakers, quad zone climate control. The only thing I'm missing is a power outlet in an electric vehicle. I like this single screen as opposed to the hyper screen. You can check out my review of the EQS SUV to see how that looks. This one's just a little bit easier. And once you get used to everything, all your major functions are here at a glance, including for safety and active lane control, all that great stuff. Even automated lane change if you get the options. It will do it automatically for you without you even initiating it. Climate controls are always down here, and there's only this row of switches, including a touch-sensitive bar for the volume. That's not as good. There's also a fingerprint reader that will store hundreds of settings to your Mercedes Me profile. And you can go into the store and even buy more things within the car from your account. When you go into the EV app, you'll see the maximum charge the car can pull from a DC fast charger. Right now, it says 162 kilowatts, and that's out of 170 total because the battery is really low. When it's higher, and that depending on the outside temperature and the battery temperature, it will change. And I like the fact that this car will actually show you that. You can adjust other settings, and if you really want to read about this stuff while you're parked, Mercedes lets you do that too. There's a few other things like games, Sudoku, random things like shuffle puck. I guess you can do this while you're seated in the car waiting for it to charge. There's other things like energizing comfort, which I guess you can do a power nap if you want. This stuff is pretty gimmicky, and I think it only goes to show you that EVs do not charge very fast, so you're just sitting around for no reason. The other useful and truly unique technology, all the ambient lighting, all the seating controls from automatic seat positioning to the side bolsters to all the massage settings. This is where Mercedes truly does luxury and tech so well. Off-road, you're not really going to use that very often, but again, the graphics on this system and the speed are very good. Another great thing about Mercedes displays, this instrument panel. You can change it into so many different layouts, full screen maps. I can show all the driver assistance with cars and trucks and the lanes as they curve. Off-road mode, just looks pretty. You won't want to take this car off-road. And just all the different ways to customize, including several views for the head-up display. Now, Mercedes is very complex. The steering wheel does take a long time to get used to, but once you do, really no other car works this well. The 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV starts at $77,900 for both the 350 Plus and the 350 4MATIC. That's on purpose because it gets below the IRS $80,000 limit to get a $7,500 tax credit on your lease. You have to lease to get that now, not to buy. With the EQE 500, you're on your own. It's $89,500 to start, and fully loaded like you see here, $108,920. There's a few other competitors and they're pretty good, like the BMW iX, Audi Q8 e-tron, the Genesis electrified GV70, and the good old Tesla Model Y. Technically, Mercedes has made a pretty good EV. It's got the range, it's got the power and torque, it's got great interior space, a lot of luxury and tech features, but that doesn't make it very compelling. It's very average to drive, it's below average to look at, and it costs a lot of money. When you compare this to other luxury midsize SUVs, whether it's gas or electric, you're paying a ton of money here, and I don't think you're getting a compelling product. I really want to see Mercedes-Benz branch out and do something that truly feels magnificent and upscale, and this is not cutting it for me. But what do you think? Do you like the EQE and any other Mercedes EQ models? Let us know, and subscribe to the CarGurus YouTube channel where we post reviews like this all the time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.